Hello, everybody. This is the Dice Heroes. We've got a special guest here, Adam Loper from Tabletop Minions, everyone's favorite YouTube sensation.
I don't know about that, but thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
So I'm Matt Sears. Enrique Estrada is also here. He's going to be showing us the beautiful contents of the VIG AdeptiCon bag. AdeptiCon was sadly canceled this year, but they are champions and have sent these weighty packages to everyone who is going to get one. So, we're going to be looking at what, I guess what is happening now, but I was going to say what could have been, but it's what everyone's getting that had signed up for them for the very important gamer. Is that VIG, right?
Pretty sure.
Yeah. Throw a different G in there if I'm wrong. But let's start us off. Enrique, do you want to tell us what the Dice Heroes are? Because you're the boss.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm not often called a boss, so I appreciate that. So the Dice Heroes, we're a charity gamer group. We started just doing stuff on Extra Life, digital gaming. We raised funds for Lurie Children's Hospital, as we're based in Chicago. And we had the idea, hey, let's see what we can do with tabletop gaming, because we're all avid tabletop gamers. And so AdeptiCon was kind enough to open the door for us last year in 2019. So they were awesome enough to want to have us back for 2020, but for obvious reasons we couldn't make that happen. So here we are.
There are some small events scheduled for 2020. We'll see how they pan out. And right now, I think Dragonfall's the next convention in October. We're hoping happen as long as it's safe.
Yeah.
All right. Let's kick off. Let's see what's in this thing. I think Adam's got one too. So we might hear some more detailed stuff about it. I'm not very important. I'm a man of no consequence, so no bag coming my way.
Yeah, well, I slipped through the back door, so that's how I got this. Let's see, and then you know what? It'd be interesting to see what the variances are in our two bags.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here we go. I want to start with this really awesome design for the T-shirt. I think it's probably our best T-shirt yet.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate that it's a gray shirt. It's like this heather gray and not the standard black one. I feel like us gamers, we love our black T-shirts, right? But it's nice to see a little bit of a difference.
I had not seen this one yet. It's good. The shield's nice.
It is.
And there's so one side's fantasy and then one side's a tech dynamic. I can tell by the robot crow head.
Yeah,
but then it seems like it swaps with the chainsword.
I think they are swapping back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, you also got the circuitry and the gear thing that's on the opposite side. It kind of goes back and forth.
Yeah. So we've got the cool chain sword, and then we've got just a regular sword.
Fantastic. And then a bunch of Latin that I don't understand. So.
That's right. No, nobody understands Latin, but we all think it sounds cool. This the front. That's what's on the chest there.
I got to be honest. I prefer the big design in the front. I don't like the little, icon over the left breast kind of thing. I've always been, I don't like the stuff on the back myself. It's a great design, but I kind of would prefer it to be on the top or on the front. I mean,
as a naval, like a gazer, like a nasal. Like I know what you're saying. Like I remember that was always an argument every band I was always in. Like, do we do something on the front or the back or both? And it was, I think, front emblem all the way. I'm with you on that.
I'm frequently wearing a hoodie, and then if I am, then you can't see the icon or the artwork at all because it's on the back. So
yeah, and also zip ups over pullovers if we're just going to talk about clothing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I enjoy zip ups. Yeah, I got to tell you, I didn't always enjoy zip ups, but lately, yeah.
I mean, whenever I was into like emotional punk music and hardcore as a young man, it was always like, oh man, I buy that, but that's a pull up, and then some pullover, and then they try to sell you a windbreaker. No, pass.
Yeah. No.
Anyway, this is a still fantastic shirt.
Yeah,
it is. So there it goes. You get the cool pub glass, right? So this is the same logo as what you saw on the front of the shirt.
Cool.
Put your drink in it. I do just quickly, and this would have been awesome to actually have at the con, right? Because wow, you like gather stuff, but this is a huge bag.
Yeah, it was really big this year.
Yeah, I felt like Santa Claus walking around with the bag. Strap it on my shoulder, and away I went.
Can't believe they mailed out these big packages. That must have been expensive. Like,
yeah.
Especially after taking a hit on not doing the con. It's definitely the right thing to do, but I would understand if they would just hold on to them for a year, you know?
I think that maybe some of the stuff is maybe not something that's going to last for a year. I mean, not that it's perishable, but, just, I don't know, time-wise.
TikTok, you got to worry about shipping and stuff. I'm sure they just wanted to, get it out the door, but.
Yeah.
What's the 5? I'm
so
confused.
This looks like, yeah, I know, it's like a poster or some kind of print here. So we got 2 of these. That's one of the ones that I picked up. I'm not real sure what the reference is here to.
Darkness listens to those willing to confess. I mean, I'm not confessing. No snitching here, man. That's not going to happen.
I'm honestly not sure what this is either. I know that it's from Black Library, and the reason that they have the numbers on them is I feel as if it's something to do almost like with an advent calendar. Like the 2 that I got have an 11 and a 12, and then they have the Black Library like iconography, and it's all kind of like falling like snow, which is why I think
it looks like snowflakes. It looks
that's why I think it is something to do with some sort of advent calendar. But I got 2 other ones, and one of mine I know, like that's definitely probably something. I don't know what, but it's definitely something. I got one that I like with. It's got a guard. It's Acadian honor.
Nice.
Yeah, so you get it's I don't know. I don't know exactly again what it's for. I don't keep up that much with Black Library. I only kind of keep up with the main things. But yeah, so I don't know exactly what these are. I kind of like that one. It's got a female guardsman on it. I might hang it up at the studio. I put it in the basement.
Of course.
Yeah, something like that.
And what number is yours?
That one's 11. I also have a 12.
Wow, I have a 4 and a 5.
Yeah.
I'm confused and delighted.
Yeah.
So we'll just go through the little stuff real quick. You get a Master Series black paint, or I got a black paint anyway.
From Reaper.
Yep.
Black paint, the one I use the least.
We got this AdeptiCon2020 metal limited edition Inquisitor Sister Joan. And I'll hold that up to the camera there.
From Victoria Miniatures, I bet.
I believe it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, Victoria. Yeah, they do some nice stuff.
Yeah, they really do.
The obligatory Adepticon pin.
That's
pretty cool. I'll steal that from you. I like pins.
Only after a few drinks.
Well, yeah, that doesn't happen to us. Yeah, I'm one of those people that get those like little steel pin lockers so they don't come off. But sometimes like one of those will get caught on something and it would probably just kill me. Like I get like stuck to a train or something like that.
Yeah, you don't,
because they will not come off. But I'm tired of losing pins. So.
Yeah.
The backs are impossible, I tell you. We got Sheriff El Figo Baca. And he's like a little chibi guy from this game, I guess, coming to Kickstarter, Gunfight Royale.
Ooh,
it's a big hat.
That is an unwieldy hat.
Yeah, it is. Sombreros are just out of control in that game, apparently. We got this Reaper Bones black miniature. Let's see what the name is here. Ashana, female genie, is what I have.
I think I think I've got the same one. Yeah, I like the Reaper Black stuff. The Bones Black stuff is actually a slightly nicer material than the white stuff. It's a little bit stiffer, a little more rigid.
Not as wobbly. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks of a high quality. I'm actually, not to say that Reaper stuff is not usually. This one is just seems to catch my eye.
Let's call it the bones regular stuff is not. I don't think that they're going for quality over quantity. That's where you get your kobolds for your Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Yeah, and they're inexpensive. You usually get a couple models for $3. So
they're definitely filling a good niche. Like I don't, but I don't think you'd be like, wow, someone won Golden Demon with the bones. Like that's
sure
possible.
Fair enough.
But no, it's good stuff. I mean, Reaper is awesome, and like. They've also been very generous with the charitable donations every year. Like they sent some starter paint sets and a bunch of stuff last year for the Dragonfall stuff. And I mean, yeah, their paints are, I love them. I mean, but dropper bottles are the best. Let's just keep it there.
Elric's Hobbies. Every time I see Elric's Hobbies, I get the warm and fuzzies because they're just, in my mind, they're just kind of linked with Adepticon. Like you always get something from them in the bag.
Yeah. My favorite convention with them is Little Wars because they're a hostage, and I just get to hang out with them the entire time because they're just the nicest chubby funsters. It's just my people. They're my people. Elric's Hobbies. They make great terrain, and they're just like nice person to have a dinner with and some drinks. So
okay, I appreciate that.
Everyone support Elric.
I just bought some stuff from them during AdeptiCon at the end of March.
Yeah.
Very cool.
They like whenever I see them at a convention for our charitable efforts, whether before or since I've synced up with these guys, they just at the end of a convention they just give me like a big bag full of stuff, and so they're just delightful people. Tangent, sorry.
It's totally cool. That's what we're here for. So Crucible Crush Games includes this little guy. I'm gonna try and get it so it's not blurry on the camera. He's actually of a higher quality than the camera is doing it justice. I enjoy that little guy there. I'm gonna paint him.
He looks like I don't know what the War Bard.
The War Bard inspiration level goes up to inspired. They will ignore the next downturn.
Gotta check out the game, I guess.
Yeah.
Suspense.
I mean, that's why they're in that bag. Having spent several $1,000s to be in that bag when I was doing records, people get intrigued by your little card in your one mini and you can figure it out.
Yeah.
So I pulled this out of the baggie. This came in a baggie. It's a Riot Quest figure. Or a mini, whatever your preferred word for these little guys are.
From Privateer Press.
And it came with this flyer. Okay. And let me get that in the camera's view here. Good. With the other side is advertising Warcaster. Have you guys heard anything about this game? I listened to a podcast about
all I know is it was a Kickstarter they did, and it's basically kind of a sci-fi version of War Machine, I believe. That's I think the super quick elevator pitch.
It is, and then that's the kind of gist that I got. But then the variance was that you play it with where you can open portals, and then your units just respawn through these portals. So you're never really out of units.
So like rifts?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you open a rift. Yeah, throughout. And
I meant like Rifts, the RPG game where you'd be like cyber dragon rider or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm gonna lose some gamer cred here. I've not played Rifts. So
don't. It's one of the worst systems.
The cover thousands of times, like in nearly every shop I've ever visited.
I have played it in my youth, and I have tons of the books on my shelf, but it is a nightmare. The game just had like, we talk about scale creep in miniatures, like the rules bloat for that game was nuts. So you'd like be like, I'm gonna be like a smuggler, and then the other guy's like, well, I am like a robot airship. like it was just so in between like a starting character could be. So
they should work together. The smuggler and the robot airship, they could work together, and
yeah, but just being like a human when like everyone around you was like summoning Cthulhu, and you're just like,
sure,
oh,
that's problematic.
yeah.
No.
What we got next? We got this quickie little brush beam from looks like Game Envy.
Cute.
Rest your brushes on it.
Mm-hmm.
They make the palettes, right? Maybe?
No, they make the one thing I've seen that they make is a hand grip thing that you attach your, and then so it's like a handle that you hold on.
That's right. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think our buddy Josh loves those things.
So I just showed those coasters. Right, not a big deal.
Coasters to put your drink on.
Yeah.
The pint glass from before. Uh-oh, I've got cats circling me now.
Oh.
They're coming.
Got some stickers.
Mm-hmm.
We get a Keyforge deck.
I like that game.
I have not had a chance to play, but I'm halfway excited. Kind of a sad trombone for me because I haven't played it and I want to now that I have a deck, but we weren't able to meet up with people, right? So
yeah, no, it's one of the things that I dislike about like collectible style card games is the collectability and also the deck building. And this game removes kind of both of those things. Keyforge is cool because the deck is the deck. You can't swap out or add in there's just the back of the deck instead of like on Magic cards just says Magic and has for the last 25 years or whatever. The back of each deck matches the rest of the cards in the deck, which is kind of cool. So if you couldn't take a card out of the deck and trade it with your friend because then it wouldn't match, and you only have 36 cards, and you just buy decks, you don't buy cards or singles or anything like that. Also, there's not really any mana per se, so you don't have to worry about like making sure you have lands or whatever in your deck, and it fixed a bunch of problems. It's by the same guy who designed Magic originally, so it's kind of like him taking a second run at his big show.
Yeah, and he did it. He's done a several other games too. Like he did the Netrunner game and stuff like that. And then they revamped it. But man, everything that you said that you hated about classical card games was like, other than the price tag, is like what I loved about them. So
right, that's the thing. It's like it's aimed towards the people who are like, I want to play Magic, except for all of the things that make Magic, and
you're gonna,
and the other people.
When I was playing EDH, there was a lot of card hunting. There was a lot of there's a lot of this is almost as good as that, so I'll put it in and stuff like that, or I just don't want to pay it. And then there's the point where you're like, well, I actually want to be good, and you spend $500 on lands.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Or you try to, like I did, I tried to just play casually with some guys at work on our lunch break, and then there was the one guy that just
couldn't do it, couldn't play casual.
Could not play casual, started looking up singles, bought a bunch of singles, and then came in and like murdered us with like a 2020 Hydra, and that he copied like 3 times. So
yeah.
Not having friends is fun.
Yeah, and that's why this stuff is really cool with Keyforge, is because it's literally just like it's a $10 deck, and if you decided, well, this deck I don't like, you can maybe sell it or trade it or whatever, but you can't piece it out. It's all one thing.
There was a lot of that in Netrunner too. Like you would just be like, I'm buying this expansion, and these are the cards that are in it. So like, there weren't packs of cards and stuff like that. So,
well, these are random, so you don't know what you're going to get. It's really interesting because the technology has allowed them now to be able to print the backs of the cards so they all match.
Sure.
So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of one thing that's like, okay, so so some people, if they want to be good or have a certain play style, buy 50 of these. But
they buy a lot of decks. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
So one thing that's fun, guys, I heard that each deck is named something different.
Yes.
And
I named not programmatically. What's the term I'm looking for? It's when the computer comes up with it all.
Yeah. These are the algorithm to make. I forget what it's.
Some of them were pretty inappropriate when it came out, or just
that's right.
There were some troubles in the initial time.
So I just wanted to open mine and see what it was. So I have a sardonic bad penny, Wyomia.
All right, there you go.
That's the name of this deck.
Yeah, and so that'll be on the back of every card, basically, so that you wouldn't be able to switch them around. And there's, I think, what do you call it? Yeah, that thing there is the the QR codes. You can scan it with their app and then track, like stuff. I guess, like you can track how many wins and losses you have for whatever. I don't know how they use that data, but yeah.
Or are they tracking you?
Well, I assume, but yes.
That's a given. That was fun. One thing I really appreciate, and I think all of us can just be really happy that we got, and I will probably buy more. Lasercraft Workshop included this paint dropper bottle storage.
Mm-hmm.
That is super cool.
Yeah. I'm setting up my, I'm kind of redoing my entire kind of hobby area in the basement. And when I saw that, I was like, I'm going to definitely try that out.
Yeah, I got a couple of big ones from Ironheart, but
Mm-hmm.
a little side small one like that. I mean, that would be good for just like, this is what I'm using for this project,
Yeah, or even just stuff that you use frequently enough that you want to keep
That's
it hanging out nearby. Yeah, absolutely.
I had a large one and a smaller one, and the smaller one was just like washes and inks and stuff like that.
Yeah, this
Cool.
looks like a real quick build too. So I was gonna 3D print some of these, but this looks so much easier. And
I have a bunch we have for charity that you can just steal too. I mean, that's what we do this for, right?
I will not admit you stealing from charity on camera. So we get a little Warhammer Adventure, this excerpt book. I think it's double-sided, right?
Yep.
40K and then fantasy on the other side.
Aimed at
of the Necron.
the young adults to some degree. Mm-hmm.
What is this? I guess I didn't really take a lot of time to look into this. Black Library Events Anthology for 2019/20. The glare is not letting you appreciate this.
Yeah,
how beautiful.
100% no. What it is, I mean, it's
The
story.
only stuff I've really kept up with Black Library is like what stuff they're like putting up as audiobooks, because that's fun that they're doing that.
Yeah, there's short stories. Like there's one about there's one for Necromunda, a couple for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, there's one for 40K, and then there's a couple of evidently Warhammer horror stories, which I've never even heard of before. I've never heard of Warhammer horror as a imprint or whatever. But yeah, they're basically just short stories about in the lore and that kind of stuff. It looks like, but it's a nice little book.
Yeah,
hardcover.
That'll
Sister of Battle on the front.
Yeah.
They're really going hard with the Sister of Battles. So
yeah, they just had one of the sisters, or several of the sisters actually, were featured in the new 9th edition kind of fancy commercial, whatever, trailer animated special thing that they put out last Saturday. Yeah,
which we talked about in the live chat today, and I still haven't watched it. I'm a bad man. Like I just
play Games Workshop stuff, so that
I don't.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I like reading the fluff sometimes and stuff like that. I just feel like talking to the group, like the Tabletop Minions group and stuff like that about it. They're very fine people, but like general public, just like walking up to like a tournament player, like I don't want to know how their feelings on 40K.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that some people, I mean, I enjoy a bunch of the books, but I don't keep up. I don't ravenously read everything. Like I even mentioned today in the video that like I've not really kept up with any of the Age of Sigmar stuff. So it'd actually be interesting to read a couple of those short stories in there.
Yeah, we're playing some Warhammer Fantasy with Sam right now. So
yeah.
Well, role play, not the
right.
Texas Front Salient.
Yep. It's another story. Obviously a fiction, maybe it's sci-fi even, because of the
Great Martian War, they call it, and it's got like a War of the Worlds tripod thing going on there, so that's fun.
Right.
Yeah.
The back, I enjoyed the back here. What are the rules, Eddie? It says, don't get drunk, which already sounds like a drag. Don't steal anything that isn't Martian, and drive like a son of a bitch. Those are some really pretty easy rules, but I don't know, that first rule, I'm gonna have a hard time with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't listen to anything that was in that font anyway, so I'm gonna drunk right now.
Reading's overrated anyway. So you know what? Something I'm really excited about, actually, and it's just kind of small. I've been looking at this game, Free Blades, for a while, just trying to get a little demo game in, and they're always packed at AdeptiCon. Now you get a little learn to play like booklet.
Yeah, I feel like more people should do learn to play stuff. The Free Blades people, they're nice people. Like they've been doing that. I think they've been doing AdeptiCon for like the last 9 years or so, I would say.
Yeah, they've been there a good long time. Probably at least as long as I've been going, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I had them, I picked up one of their rule books, and I had them, the creator, autograph it, because I just thought it was cool.
Ooh. Is that worth more or less money now?
I don't know. Maybe like some gamer credits.
There
you go.
Yeah.
No, I think more people should do stuff like that. Honestly, I think with these kind of things, you need to have your advertising be worthwhile as well. Like be like a little one-off mini or something like that, or learn to play, not just a slip of paper advert. That's when people are just not doing it right.
Sure. Yeah. And I think that it seems as if like you used to see a lot more of that in the Adepticon swag stuff. It would just be like a bag full of like papers that you would sort of be like, yeah, okay, great. You'd sort of glance at them and then chuck them. And you don't see that as much in the last several years. It's more stuff that's actually useful, I think.
People are getting smarter about it. That's it. I mean,
I think it's because the way they changed they changed the vendor area. It used to be, from what I understand, to get a vendor booth, you had to basically not pay for a vendor booth like you would at most conventions. You had to, in kind, like donate stuff that would then go into the swag bags. But if your company doesn't make anything that you can slip into a swag bag, like let's say you make, mats, like 4x6 mats, you can't give everybody a mat. It was difficult, but since a couple of years ago when they decided we're just going to make it now where everything is designed to be, you just pay a fee or however you want to do it. I think you can still opt into, putting the stuff in the swag bag, but I think
I was a vendor, and there was a point where they were just like, hey, we want, for us, because we were local and volunteered a little in the beginning. I mean, not to make anyone jealous, but it was just like, just set up a booth in the hall. But like as things got more and more, I wouldn't say corporate. I mean, they were just getting, they needed to get more organized with that stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of ramped up to, here's stuff for our giveaways for like different tournaments. And then here's stuff for the swag bag, and then give us money.
Yeah. No, makes sense.
It makes it sound like they're like corporate profiteers, and they're a fantastic group of people.
Anything but, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Keep coming, buddy, man. To tell us to shut up, just chat.
Hey, no, it's totally cool. I enjoy our conversation here. Penny Dreadful. I'm not familiar, but I looked this up real quick. Apparently, this is an RPG.
Yeah, this is the RPG for Malifaux. So Malifaux is made by Weird Games, and Penny Dreadful. Well, actually, Penny Dreadful is a book kind of. The name of the RPG is called Through the Breach, it's the RPG for Malifaux, the skirmish game.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by that. I'm gonna have to check that out the next time I'm over, if I ever get to come over.
Yeah. Well, let's hope sooner than later.
The last probably 4 years, like when Malifaux first launched, their art was super hit or miss. And then they got a new artist who has just, in my opinion, knocked it out of the park for years now. Like since second edition, this new artist has just been spectacular. In the very first edition of Malifaux, there was some art that was just not great, but everything that they do now, I think art-wise, is really good. And I think, honestly, it's maybe all the same person. It's that person's working hard, but they're keeping busy. So
first edition is Ashcan. Let's go see if people like it, and then let's throw some resources at it. So I totally understand that.
Yeah,
this looks cool, man. I'm stealing this from you. I'm gonna.
Yeah, and
I like the Through the Breach is something I've been meaning to look into. So this kind of reminds me. I just picked up my phone. I wasn't playing a game or anything. I was just like adding it to my list to look into because I think at least it would just be a cool thing to have on your shelf. Like this is like there's a lot of RPG books that I like to have just for the art, and I think that this would be one of them.
Yeah. So. Malifaux's just, I think, a really great like story. I really enjoy background and all that kind of stuff.
It's also kind of like Rifts.
I enjoy the models too. Well, it's more like Rift.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like there's just the one Rift. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they just have
Rift.
Yeah, Rift. Exactly. It's just
singular.
Yeah.
Get it right.
Yeah. So this book is cool. I am interested, and you're right. The art is really nice.
Yeah.
Don't get too interested because it's mine.
Another rules book. We have the Fate of a Nation book with like a little discount coupon there.
Mm-hmm. From Battlefront, the guys who make Flames of War.
That's right. Yeah. Let me open this real quick. Have you guys played any
well,
other
this
games?
is a standalone game. This is actually like when I first saw it. Initially, I was like, "Oh, well, this is just another add-on for Flames of War," but it takes place in. I think it's a relatively recent war, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's like the Iraq. It says on the cover the Arab-Israeli wars miniatures game.
Yeah, and it's self-contained. This is not like an add-on to one of their current games. It's its own game. I mean, you can it takes a lot of things from a lot of their properties, but it is designed to be from what I can see, from what I read, it's designed to be a self-contained game. So
very cool.
Yeah. I like their tank combat stuff. I just don't have anybody much to play it with, sadly, around where I live. But I do. They have another game. They have another game called Tanks, and they have Tanks. There's like a World War II version of Tanks, and then there's another game called Tanks: The Modern Age, and they're almost kind of like X-Wing, but for tanks. Like it's a simpler version of the game. You have little cardboard templates to go, I'm going to make a move over here. I'm going to take this kind of turn, that kind of stuff. So it's pulled some things a little bit kind of almost from X-Wing, but it's designed for people who aren't necessarily interested in a huge, long, super dense game. But this stuff, like a lot of the way that these army lists and things like that, these look a lot like Flames of War army lists. So this is going to aim more towards the Flames of War folks and a little bit less away from Tanks. Tanks has got an exclamation point at the end in case anyone's looking at
it. Hot take. I just can't get interested in anything that was like a real conflict.
That's kind of the issue, honestly, for me also. And that's one of the reasons I don't push hard on it because, I just... And I mentioned this to someone just recently. Like, I'm like, I have a hard time being interested in a game that like happened to someone's grandpa. You know what I mean? Like that's difficult, and just for me. And I'm not against other people playing it that way. But for me, I have a hard. Now, on the other hand, there are companies out there that are doing, like you've got the folks over at Warlord who make Bolt Action, which is historical, but then they also have Conflict 47, which is weird World War II. So you've got laser tanks and werewolves, and that I'm on board with definitely because that didn't happen to anybody's grandpa. So I'm more interested in that. But the little tanks for the Tanks Modern Age game, I do really enjoy building them and putting together and painting them and all that stuff. They're a lot of fun. So
who doesn't like putting together cool looking tanks?
Especially now that they've actually moved into plastics. They used to be resins and metals, and then I didn't like doing it because it was a pain. But now that they've moved mostly into plastics, they've actually become really great little kits.
Yeah, I could see for stuff like that, working with a metal would be a pain.
Yeah.
A little regular guy, no, not so much. But
but for tanks, a lot of times it was the treads were metal, the body was resin, the turret was resin, and the barrel of the tank of the gun was metal, and so it just problematic.
Yeah, like Vietnam, it's too soon.
Yeah, no. I have a rule set where you play. You have Marines, you have Viet Cong, and then you have fishermen with AK-47s that they've stolen off of. I'm assuming Viet Cong. I don't know. And that's called Black Sun, and it's an alternate history Vietnam. And I'm like, well, that's cool because fishermen. I like fishermen a lot. So.
Yeah. They got gills, you're down. I get you, man.
Yeah.
You all got to type. But yeah, Fate of a Nation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
right.
I mean, it looks cool. It's just it's just
It's well produced, very well produced.
very well. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we get this, and let me put this back on this little purple rubber band. This is just like a notebook, apparently.
Aw.
Just like a journal, right? So it's kind of cool.
That is pretty nice. Yeah.
Right? You just write your notes of death and sorrow or whatever you want to write in here.
Long as it's grim and dark, man.
I'm not sure that I got one of those. I'm looking through my box here. I don't think I got one of those.
Oh,
I think you guys got a special add-on.
I feel extra VIG.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got this cool little separator here.
Yeah, they didn't give the notebook to anyone that had the media badge.
Yeah, no, I can understand. Yeah, I don't think I have that one.
So it'd be funny to write like, I had a really great day. I went out for ice
So
skating.
is that technically an Age of Sigmar notebook? Is that what I'm reading?
It looks to be.
Yeah, that's right. An Age of Sigmar one.
And what kind of Scully person is that? Just an undead?
If I had to guess, I'd say possibly a OCR Bone Reaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really only know about this, like some of the fluff for the Ghoul Courts. So, yeah, which is neat, but
the Night Haunts are neat too. I like them a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The models are astounding because they all are like floaty ghost guys, but they're all balancing like on just one little piece of like their cloak as it drags along the ground. So they're kind of delicate, but they look amazing.
Yeah, my cats wouldn't allow for that.
Yeah, no, that's certainly true.
So for anyone that wants to get into or has Blood Red Skies, get one of these guys. Yeah.
Also from Warlord, World War II, kind of a plane game, kind of along. I mean, I don't want to say it's like X-Wing, but if you've played Star Wars X-Wing, you probably kind of understand that it's plane to plane type combat.
Right.
What was the FASA game that kind of ripped off some of the? I mean, X-Wing kind of ripped off a little bit.
Crimson Skies, yeah.
So Blood Red Skies, Crimson Skies. Crimson Skies is no longer a thing. So if somebody's going to make something that's similar to it,
because Crimson Skies came out first as metal models from FASA, then it became a PC game, I think, and then eventually it became a Clicks game from WizKids, and then it became an Xbox, I think regular Xbox, not even the Xbox 360.
Original Xbox. Yeah. You're talking about the entire FASA. Everything they did followed that in that historical pattern. So.
Yeah, it's just hop back and forth and but I loved the PC game. I never played I played the Clicks game, but I never played the original miniatures game for that. But yeah, it's
it was pretty similar to like what you're saying, like X-Wing, where it's like it didn't really have like all three dimensions. It was kind of like a 2D,
2D,
like
very frequently no terrain, which is also kind of a bummer. I mean, like with X-Wing, you get terrain with like asteroids and stuff like that, so you got that benefit. But in these types of games, when you're playing World War II type stuff, there's no asteroids generally. So but it's I've heard good things about it. I've not gotten a demo of it yet, unfortunately.
I think most dogfights, most dogfights would be postponed by asteroids. They would probably we're going to do this tomorrow.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea.
Nobody wants to go out like that. That's embarrassing. Come on.
No, but I mean that actually makes me interested in that because
So we have a Stormcast Eternal. We have a Night Quester. Dacian Anvil.
And I don't know that this is a special like convention special. I think he's sort of, I don't know if it's something you could just buy or if it came with something else, but I'm pretty sure, I don't know that that's a convention special. I think he's just, I could be wrong, but it's a good model. I really do like him.
He's a cool guy, yeah.
I've had several people try to sell me on why Stormcast are cool other than the models look good, and it never worked. So
the storyline is a little, but the models are spectacular.
No, yeah,
So-
beautiful models, but
Definitely. To mirror that, right? We've got a 40K model here. We've
Now
got
this one is a convention special. Like
Yeah.
they announced this back in April on one of those Saturday morning. In our neck of the woods, it was Saturday morning. Over there, it was Saturday afternoon. But yeah, in one of those Saturday morning preview shows where they were going to. It was the stuff that they were going to do during the press show at AdeptiCon. They took that press show at AdeptiCon and split it up into 3 episodes. Well, technically, probably 4, because I think at AdeptiCon they were also going to announce 9th edition, but I could be wrong. But yeah, this guy this guy's a special edition. Like you can only get him at conventions and such. So, and it's Terminator Librarian.
is Terminator Librarian an oxymoron?
I don't think so. I mean, you're in Terminator Iron or Terminator armor, but you're also a librarian, which means that you're
so hard to read.
I would say it would be difficult to put away the books with those big gloves. That's technically not what they mean.
Just incinerating the shelves.
Right? Yeah. Like, man.
I mean, Adam, you're not Enrique. Neither one of you are competitive Warhammer 40K guys, but is that like a miniature that's intriguing? Sorry, I'm so hard on you.
No, competitively, I don't know that you see a lot of Terminators these days, but I could be wrong. I think it's a lot of the Primaris is the big deal for all of the competitive players if you're going to be playing Space Marines.
That's dumb. I would just put out a bunch of Terminators because they look cool and lose.
Terminators do look cool. I mean, that's certainly the case. I don't know about. It's a cool model. I don't know what I would use him for currently because I'm not playing, Terminators. So there's that. But he's a cool model. I could just keep painting him for fun.
Yeah, I dropped out of Space Marines back in I think it was 6th edition. And I mean, not because I hate them or anything. I just wanted something else. I just kind of play like the offbeat army. So I got into Dark Eldar. Dark Eldar at the time. Now they're Drukhari.
Yeah.
So and then I found out they were the hard mode army, and I was like, well, I'm committed now, so I'm staying here. And then now I recently got into Gene Stealer cults, and I found out they're kind of like the hard mode army too. So
they can be, yeah. They're great looking models, though. I really
they are.
Like.
Love the bike stuff.
Yeah, Noble Knight Games sent us some of those, so that's very, very kind of them. Yeah, I mean, I used to play Space Wolves surprisingly, and it was fun. But that was probably that long ago. Yeah. Fury.
Yeah.
So Tanks has an exclamation point, but Fury doesn't. But these are 2 different companies. I'm sorry.
Fury
No, it's the same company.
Wow, They really went all out for this bag.
Oh yeah. This is also Flames of War by Battlefront.
Now, is Brad Pitt depicted in this? Because
I just looked. I don't see a model for him in here at all, which is sad.
There is a movie called Fury that's got Brad Pitt in it, though, right? I'm not losing my mind.
No, I think I might own it on Blu-ray. But yeah, it's this is kind of a starter, honestly, for Flames of War, but it is sort of trying. I don't want to say it's trying to ride the coattails, but it is designed to be, making you think of the movie and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's got the 4th edition. I believe it's 4th edition. The little skinny version of the 4th edition Flames of War book in it, and some dice and some models and some other stuff. So yeah, it's kind of a starter. They have another starter too that's maybe twice this size that's also available, and I can't think of what it's called. Hit the Beach, maybe. That might. Anyway, it's both of them are really, really good deals. Like that's the thing about Battlefront is when they want to sell a starter for Flames of War, they're always really surprisingly good deals.
I'm sure they're loss leaders for them.
I think so. Yeah.
Smart though.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, this is also. I mean, honestly, it's smart. You can't. The movie's not brand new, and also you can't copyright historical events,
right?
Or even like fictionalized versions thereof. So, as far as I understand it,
Fury.
You take that Fury.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get some tanks, right? Just a tank combat game, but then you can work your way into. It's kind of like the your low cost taste, right? To get you hooked.
Yeah, and the game is designed to also be played. You can have squads as well, but I mean, I personally, when I used to play, I was always trying to build armies that were as tank heavy as possible because squads are, I don't know, I found them boring.
Yeah, tanks are where it's at.
I mean,
I agree.
Tanks are cool, right?
So I got two. Everyone got two Marvel Crisis Protocol minis, and my two are Venom and MODOK.
Oh, interesting. I got Venom and Hulk.
Yeah, so that was the other variant that I heard was out there.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool for me because I don't have either of these models, and I didn't really care for MODOK, just like on the basis of I don't like MODOK as a character.
Sure.
But I wasn't
only killing.
Well, the principles that he lives his life by, I enjoy. Don't really enjoy the model.
Okay.
And it's not their fault. It's not Atomic Mass Games' fault. It's just like the original design of the character I don't care for.
So you don't really care to see him in 3D or paint his big weird face.
Yeah.
Or so either one of so.
It's like a head with arms and legs who's riding on his own fart. As far as I can. Yeah.
That's it. That's what he looks like. Just like it's
not like they made a bad sculpt. That's actually what he looks like in the comics. So yeah.
That's right.
So both of these, I think these ones are good though. So I've got some friends that are in this game, and it's fine. It's kind of like playing a sports simulation, but not a sports simulation. Like you've got different things like objectives you're running to, and you can kind of just bash through barriers and stuff like that. But it is kind of like a sports Blood Bowl type thing where it's like everybody puts out their little things and then everybody runs and grabs them and moves them and stuff like that. Like little objectives.
Objective oriented as opposed to shooting and killing and stabbing and whatnot, which I get.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
But I think both of these minis are safe, but there's a lot of them with just like the Loki miniature and like the Sith and stuff like that. It's like, please mail in and get replacement horns because the ones we made were awful.
Oh no.
Yeah, they've got. It's not like a recall. I mean, it's a new line, and I'm sure they're getting better and better.
It came out back in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think what's funny is I think the three that you guys listed are three that don't have any kind of like recall issues. So that's a smart thing to be giving away as like a free thing.
So he's not, Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, they've got some Philly bits, but the models are still with the Philly bits. They're a hobby, challenge, but they're great, and superheroes are fun. I read the card. They seem like they flip whenever they get like damaged or something special happens, and that's a nice little narrative thing that they can Hulkamania whenever they're but. Yeah, something about it just doesn't do it for me, but it's like, I don't know, like I still am I'm on the fence, man, because there's some characters that they put out that I'm really interested. They're going to put out Moon Knight and then I'm going to buy it. That's what's going to happen.
I picked up the starter box at the beginning, like just on the first days of the the lockdown and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Bought it from my local shop because I was like, I wanted to help support them. And I was also kind of almost convinced to pick it up by a conversation I had when I was at the Gamma Trade Show in Reno back in early March. And so I thought, all right, I'll give it a try. And I have not yet gotten to it. Sadly, I've been hobbying this entire time, but I've got a lot of things in my queue. So I was glad when Venom and Hulk showed up because I'm like, well, I can add this eventually to that. But I have not yet started building them. I've been doing too much kit bashing, but I'm interested in trying it out. I think the issue for me is going to be that basically none of my terrain fits because the scale is a little bit bigger. It's like closer to 40 millimeter. So, but from what I have, one of the reasons that I was kind of convinced in this conversation is that is perfectly the exact same as a specific train.
O scale?
Yeah, it's like O scale.
Josh has that Subway set, and it's perfect.
Yeah, so if you buy stuff that's O scale or whatever, then you have this perfectly, because here's the thing, like people have no problem building ruins from scratch and stuff like that and weird sci-fi crap. But if you need to build like a normal apartment building or a Taco Bell, that's no one wants to build that from scratch. So you want to buy a kit for that stuff, and trained people are all about that. So that was a smart move on their part. And honestly, that was what flipped me over, because I was like, I mean, great superheroes and all that stuff, and the models do look pretty good, but I'm like, where am I going to get the terrain that's going to look right? And he's just like, oh, it's O scale. I'm like, oh. And then we started talking about that, and it made a lot more sense.
I honestly think that they're going for the miniatures community, kind of, and then going for people that will just go to Hobby Lobby and buy an O scale gas station.
Sure, I could see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually,
I can see that.
Menards. That's where Josh got all his stuff from.
Yeah, Menards.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Please say anything other than Hobby Lobby. I'm not the only one to send people
for
to Hobby
some
Lobby.
reason has got and all that stuff that they sell, it's all pre-painted and pre-built. Yeah. So it's not cheap, but you get a Taco Bell, they got a Starbucks, they got like all this kind of stuff, which will fit.
And his wife will pop over there and just like see, and like she'll just like grab him. Like I said, a gas station before, because I think she just brought him home a gas station one day, and it was like a perfect O scale, nicely painted. And he's like, well, I mean, I could just keep it like this, or I could apocalypse this, like put some rust on it. Like he's done some really cool stuff, but it's like, his wife Amelia, great lady, would just be like, hey, look what I brought. I brought you this O scale thing, and now he's got like and now he just uses it for Marvel mostly, because for a 28 guy, it's a little big.
It's a little weird size for 28 millimeter, but for 40, it's perfect. Yeah, it's odd that you get it at Menards. That's just strange. Menards sells this stuff, but I guess evidently the guy who started Menards was big into trains. So I don't know, but I've even looked at my local Menards, and I found the stuff.
And you save big money, so that's great.
Yeah, well, that's what they say.
This is the thing that people want to know. That's why we're doing this video right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Menards, I have a PayPal. You can send that to me. I have
Menards is on my solicitation list, and I do bring up, like, you want to give us some train stuff, and then I get their customer service loop and stuff like that.
Okay.
But someday they will just send us like a red robin out of nowhere. So
nice. That would be cool.
Scurvy Dice.
Scurvy Dice, yeah. It's a dice game. I've not heard of it, but I've heard of the company, and I've heard good things. So I'm really excited to try this out. It's like travel, right? It's 15 to 30 minutes, but this is by Firelock Games.
They're the people who do one of the pirate games, and I can't remember which one.
Is it Blood and Plunder?
Maybe.
Could be.
Or the But yeah, I've seen them at AdeptiCon for years. I've not heard of this, but when I saw it, I looked at the back and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Blood and Plunder.
Yeah.
So it's a nice, like their stuff is always like beautiful to look at. I just pirates don't do it for me, man. I don't know what it is. It's just a miss for me.
Like you and I used to.
Yeah, we still could. I mean, that's fun.
Yeah.
And I played Assassin's Creed 4. Black Flag was like the only Assassin's Creed that was interesting to me.
Yeah, same here.
Like, but I just like, I feel like when it just turns into like a naval combat thing, it's not really as interesting. But like the Scurvy Dice stuff, as long as they don't make me doesn't turn into Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Yeah.
I'll check it out, man. Yeah. Could be a fun friend with games, games with friends type thing.
Absolutely.
So this is where it gets really cool. Like, as if all this cool stuff wasn't cool enough.
You've been ramping up. I know, man. I've been waiting for the big boxes.
Yeah. So you get God Tier Eternal Glade starter set, and this is by the folks that do Guild Ball.
Yes, this is Steamforge Games.
That's right.
And so God Tier is kind of for if you have
God Tier.
It's God Tier, like a tear, like it falls out of your eye,
like they've cried.
Yeah. So it's a little bit like if you've heard of Warhammer Underworlds, Shadespire, that kind of thing. This game is along those lines in that you're playing on like hexes or squares, I can't remember which, and you're battling that way. And so there's not like a lot of terrain and stuff like that, but it's a little bit more of a quick-paced kind of competitive-y sort of gateway game between board games and miniatures, the thing that I find interesting about God Tier, from what I've read, and I have not yet been able to sink into it much, but I've messed with a bunch of the models. But as far as the rules are concerned, the thing that's interesting is, like, you get a game like Warhammer Underworlds from Games Workshop, you buy a war band of so-and-sos, and that's the war band. There's no substitutions. There's nothing. God Tier, you are building your war band, and you can just grab anybody from pretty much any faction. Like, they've all kind of come together in this one place. So you can just be like, oh, I'm going to grab this guy, this guy, this guy from all these different factions. And so that gives you a bunch of different customization and things like that, which is very interesting. And they've also been releasing not just the starter packs, which they release different starter packs. Like, yours is the red and
looks
green.
like red and gray.
I think yours is the red and green one, and I think mine is
yeah.
Mine's the blue and green one, I think. But then they've also released smaller. They released smaller, like, half boxes too, that are basically just add-ons as well. So
yeah, I mean, it's something that I would definitely play a demo of. Like, it's got a nice crisp artwork style to it and stuff like that. I almost feel like, God, I'm so lame. This is going to be a game where I need to know why these guys are fighting. Well, and, like, that will help me. I don't know why.
From what what I can remember, the reason that it's called God Tier is because basically the gods have died or something like that, and as they died, their tiers have dropped down to the earth, and they're basically like comets, and they're very powerful magic and stuff like that. So you're fighting over these shards that have landed, on the surface of the planet, and it's different factions. But the thing is that the factions can be mixed together, so it's not just like, oh, if I'm playing these guys, I have to play these guys. You can just pick and choose people from pretty much any faction and make your own war band, which I like that concept. So
that's good.
Yeah, so the starter box, obviously you get 2 factions, and that's very cool that they included both. They have both starter boxes that were given out, and just to sweeten the deal, in case you wanted to play a third faction, the AG box comes with one.
Yep.
So can you? I know we're going a little long, and we don't want to do this all night, even though I'm having a blast. Pop up in that first God Tier box real quick, so people can see how many minis come with it, or something like that, if you don't mind.
Sure. I'll do it on camera to build suspense.
So literal unboxing at that point.
That's right.
Yeah.
We gotta unbox something, and I have no boxes. I've got nothing here. So
this is your bonus unboxing. Anyone
the add-on box? You got the blue one?
Yeah, I got it. It's like dwarves or something.
Mine is green, and it is the Wraith Marid, the Rising Tsunami, and Splashlings, and they're basically like big lizard dudes, which is pretty cool.
That is kind of up your alley.
Yeah, I do like lizards. And then the one that I have, the starter set, is I think actually yellow and blue, or maybe brown and blue. It's way on the bottom.
I wonder if it's a different grid and map on each one and stuff like that too.
So this map is double-sided.
Cool. I'm just wondering if each starter box has different ones. I would not be surprised if it was. It looks like they're putting some pretty interesting and cool work into this. Yeah,
no, definitely. They've done some, and they had a Kickstarter, all that kind of stuff. But now it's out, where people can buy it, and it's very interesting. Like I said, I think it's a little bit of a gateway game because it can be played. Sure. It's a little bit between the board game area and the miniature area. It's designed hopefully to bring board game folks into miniatures. That's the idea, I hope.
Mm-hmm. No, that's cool.
And who doesn't love to see like a nice little hex layout battlefield? Come on.
There's a place in my heart for hexes, and then there's sometimes hatred for hexes. We'll see how the hexes are used.
So,
all right, man. Cool.
Yeah, you got that box there. That looks like character sheets or like a player playmat. Here's your card for your characters. Put those aside. I don't know what this little baggie's for. Maybe it's for. Oh, I see.
Tokens or something.
This is probably tokens or these dice. A big handful of custom dice.
Who doesn't just love custom dice?
That's right.
A bunch of tokens and a bunch of models.
Yeah. And so here's the model. Looks like
those look nice and crisp. Those look good.
Yeah, there's an undead.
Whenever models and Kickstarter are talked about, I get a little concerned whenever anything's coming overseas. Where you have a quality dip, but that looks pretty good.
Yeah. Probably the camera's not doing it justice either, but
you got there. You got there.
Yeah.
They've been doing pretty well with their plastics, honestly. Because when they first launched Guild Ball, I think it was predominantly all metal, and then they started moving into plastics, and they've been doing real good with that. Like those little, like that staff, that's a hard thing sometimes to do in plastics without it getting real droopy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they've been doing good work with that. That started with Dark Souls. When they released Dark Souls, those models were plastic, and it was a gateway game kind of. It's a little bit more board gamey, but with models. And it still looked, the models were really good, I thought.
Yeah, these look like nice models. I'm going to enjoy figuring out how to play this game because I do enjoy Underworld. It's one of my. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's try and figure this one out when we're no longer quarantined from each other.
That'd be great.
And what else have you got? I've got one more thing in my box.
So, I got two more things. One is small. One is literally big, colossal, you might say. That's a really bad pun. You get one of those, and the faction is different.
I got one not from War Machine, but from Hordes. I got a big lizard. But no, I don't know what it is. It's a Hydra.
They're like Lizard Day. Here you go, Adam.
What is it? It's the Desert Hydra. So he's got 1, 2, 3, like 5 heads, I think. But it's also a gargantuan or whatever like that. So yeah, but that's the Convergence of Cyrus, which is the kind of sort of space elfy sort of faction, I think, partially from War Machine.
So you think that they're doing like the big set piece because they've been giving out war bands for the last couple of years, and they're just like, okay,
potentially, yeah. I mean, because for the last several years, you're right. They have been predominantly giving in the VIG bags and things like that, either a 2-player starter or like the battle boxes, or whatever. So that this is the size of the battle boxes. And I don't know if these are plastic or resin, but they're not metal, that's for sure. Because that would be super heavy because they are really big. They're, like I said, they're colossal or gargantuans or whatever they're called.
I got into the Iron Kingdom stuff by them, like the books, the RPG books. They've actually got some pretty cool, especially on the Horde side, some like really interesting lore. Like it surprised me because the players are just like kind of treat it like some of the players kind of just treat it like chess, like, oh, I'm going to beat you in these next 2 turns, and here's why. To see such a kind of like a well-crafted fiction, and I was kind of bummed when they cut some of their RPG production, but I understand it wasn't. I mean, that was probably not making them money. But I mean, their models have always been crisp and clean, and
they do plastics, so that's interesting. Yeah,
that's really nice hard plastic. Yeah. So this is Convergence of Sears. Yeah, it's like Cyrus. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure either.
This is like their Steambot looking faction. Yeah, I think the elves they're like Retribution. That's what they are.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, I think the elves are a different group. Yeah, that's right. I think that's
Don't mean to be like pedantic and call you out.
Right. No, it's Retribution.
Oh, burn.
Yeah, these guys are like more robots. Yeah, that's a good point.
This is when Adam just hangs up. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I haven't played War Machine since early days of 2nd edition. Honestly, one of the last games I played, and when I kind of stopped, I was actually playing against Sam, and he was running his Hordes Troll Bloods, and I was running my Kador War Machine, and he had this like rule that basically anytime any of his guys died, then on a 5-up they didn't die, and so it was called toughness, and they were trolls. So yeah,
that's a That's a pretty good chance.
He was rolling hot that day, and so I just was not. I was not getting any. I was just not.
And
working.
that was we got some cat fighting over here. And then so that was when you stopped being friends with Sam, and I've just been sabotaging him since. Yes.
No, but I did stop playing War Machine at that point. So yeah.
So this next one is tiny, literally. So I'm just gonna hold the mini up. Starfall: Age of Mercenaries is where this little mini comes from. And I saved it for last because it was almost poetic. It includes this little postcard, and what does it say? Wish you were here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeesh, prescient.
Yeah.
Oh man. Man, I really hope we have a AdeptiCon 2021. And
I sure hope so.
Yeah, same here.
AdeptiCon is one of those conventions that honestly, I could do every 3-4 months.
Oh yeah.
I could have done that convention 4 times a year.
I am slightly annoyed that it's not at least twice a year. And I don't mean to tell them that they need to start doing it twice a year, and I'm mad at that. Yeah. I just wish that it was something I could go to twice a year, because I do have such a great time there.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Every year when it's over, that Sunday feels like total poop.
No.
You know, because you're just like,
I'm always ready to leave on Sunday. I'm just like 2 months later thinking, I could do that again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sunday comes so quick, especially with, Matt, you were a vendor. Adam, I don't know if you do like any booth work or anything like that, or like reporting over there, but
I film a lot of stuff. I do try to film a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I had a lot of plans for a lot of interviews actually this year, but last year I did. I talked to a lot of the hobby seminar teachers and did a piece for AdeptiCon that was basically about why you want to go to AdeptiCon and take classes from some of the best painters in the world. So I interviewed a bunch of the painters and stuff. Kind of talked about that. Made a video about that. Thanks. But yeah, so that's the type of stuff that I do there. That, and then just talk to people and hang out, have some cocktails.
Adam and I met when I was doing Rec Age. The first year I was doing it was like 9 years ago, almost 8 years ago.
It was probably at least, because I was actually working for Beasts of War at that time, and I worked with Beasts of War from 2010 to 2012, I think. So yeah, and as I just sent you a picture a couple of days ago. I was cleaning the basement and I found this little flyer for Rec Age coming in 2012. So I think that I interviewed you and Anton. Maybe is either 11 or 12. That's when we first met.
Yeah, I was out in Lombard, and we just kind of got along.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. I don't think we're. No, I don't know. It was just a love story in the making. And then I think I met Sam that year too. I think you introduced me to that barbarian, and it's
potentially.
Yeah. Now I'm just gonna move to Wisconsin. So.
You should. I mean, well, but don't. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So those days doing all that stuff, and so us with Dice Heroes. Before I did Dice Heroes last year, I was just a regular Joe Schmo attendee.
Mm-hmm.
And it went fast as an attendee, but now that I do things like run gaming for charity, it goes just twice as fast, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a different bandwidth. It's so weird.
It is. And then everyone's so awesome there. People like walked up to our area and wanted to like chat with us and just see what's going on and how to get involved and do things. So before I turn around, it was Sunday, and we were packing stuff up, and I was like, wow, I blinked and that thing was done.
Yeah.
Yeah, the difference between attending a convention and running an event or vending a convention is you don't think, well, what am I going to do next once when you have the other stuff. You've got your schedule set, and it's 14 hours a day, and then you end up going out for drinks after.
Sure,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, a Gen Con canceled. We were supposed to be hanging out like in a month there, Adam. That's rough. So
Yeah.
What can you do? Wish you were here, as it were. We're just gonna cry now.
This month, Origins. I was going to be at Origins, and that's now going to be virtual. And they've allegedly tried to push. They said they're going to push Origins till October. So we'll see how that works out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like they're going to try to do a physical one, or they're going to?
Yeah, no, they said that they're going to push Origins to sometime in October, and also do a virtual one in June when they would have normally done normal Origins, which I think is late June.
Wow.
I hope Dragonfall happens, but I want everyone to be safe just as much as I hope it happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of bittersweet that it happens, but I do think the people from Adepticon, and I'm sorry to be keeping you gentlemen right now, but I do think they made the right call. I think Matt and Hank and the other leadership people. I mean, I was like, oh man, really? But like, I don't think we knew you guys were smarter than we as attendees were willing to be.
Yeah,
because I probably would have gone.
So. I mean, well, we were sitting. I was in Reno at the like I said, the Gamma Expo, and it was that week, that second week of March, and so we were me and my colleague were sitting at a restaurant, and he's watching the news, and he's like, "Oh, NBA just canceled the season."
Yep.
NBA just canceled the season.
I was in Las Vegas when they were doing all that stuff.
Right, and it just like while we sat there during that dinner, like the NBA, the NFL, and like another thing, maybe NHL, all just canceled. And I'm like,
it's just like, what do they know that? What do they know that we don't know?
5 minutes later, I got an email saying, "Yeah, that's not." So, yeah, it's a bummer, but it was the right move, but it was a bummer.
It was,
and Enrique and I had spent a lot of time on the like the events that were going to be going, and they were filling up, and it was looking great. And it's just bad. It's no one's fault. Bad news.
Yeah,
I had definitely had the AdeptiCon sads, man. There was like a few weeks, I think probably a couple weeks. I was like, I woke up and was like, something is so missing.
Yeah.
And that sounds gamer dramatic, but
it's the case. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I want to say that I've gone the last, I might have gone the last like 14 years. Like, like it just felt like the spring didn't happen unless I was snowed on at Adepticon.
Yeah.
So but I think so we're gonna with the Dice Heroes, we're gonna be looking into a Patreon where we can maybe raffle off some of these fine goods. There's gonna be the link to where you can donate to the Lurie's Hospital in this. But you got any other than thank you, Adam, for joining us? You got any parting thoughts there, Enrique?
I'm just really glad that the guys at that manage Adepticon were able to get together and find a way for us to help. I think it was really awesome for them to just not say, "Well, here's just your money back." I like that they got creative and we were able to help out the con in some way. By I don't know if everyone knows, but to get the stuff. You choose from a small menu of options, right? What to do with your money. So I chose to let the con keep the money that I had paid for the VIG, and then take the stuff. And apparently that helps them out. I don't know how, because this value is awesome in this bag.
Yeah.
But apparently, that was and I wanted to do that. I thought, man, I really don't want this to be the end of Adepticon, because this is like a big deal to me. Like it's I found like a gamer home, at Adepticon. And it just so happens to be like in my backyard, right? I live in Chicago, and it's in Schaumburg.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I love about Adepticon is still, even though those dudes do get burnt out very much. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I used to see Matt Weeks on the train every year, and he'd be like, "That's my last one," and this is 8 years ago. So it's obviously not been, and they're very passionate about it. But in April, they're not looking forward to the next one. But because of that, it's just a passion project for them. It's not like a Gen Con or a Comic Con or like a C2E2, where it's like you know the underlying reason that this is happening now is money. Like there is like a passion for gaming, even if it's not the games that they, like the organizers are like playing at the moment. They're like glad to see people doing it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you're right. With AdeptiCon, it is a passion project in comparison to the other, like really big conventions and stuff like that. And I think it really shows. I think it comes through in the people that volunteer and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, I hope to be stuffing bags in 2021. I had signed up for 2020 to like do some extra help with them, and we were going to do some. We were going to do some Shadowrun for charity stuff too, which was going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then you had the Dark Age stuff, but I mean, what could you do? You know. So yeah, wish you were here. Yeah, thanks. This was a lot of fun, guys. It was a pleasant way to spend the evening. I hope you guys agree.
Yeah. This was great. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
We'll see everyone on the next one.